Hey, everybody, welcome to a bonus episode of You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Devon, and that felt weird.
It did feel weird. As soon as I started saying it, it's like, this is going to be weird. Ryan
Yeah,
could not be here with us tonight for this episode. So Devin and I are taking the initiative and doing this ourselves. Because originally we had threatened Ryan with this movie. And now
literally threatened.
yeah, we did. Um, but so we're going to talk about this. We are streaming this live on Twitch for 24 hours, and then this is going to be exclusive to our podcast feed and our YouTube channel. So
Yep.
if you're listening to this on a podcast feed, go ahead and click the link in the description, head over to our YouTube channel, and hit the subscribe button. We're really trying to grow the channel there. You can also find us on Twitch and hit the follow button there. We really want to try to hit affiliate status here soon. We're getting close. We just need a few more followers. So
You're really just a few. It's really
yeah.
crazy how close we are.
But today we are talking about Space Jam: A New Legacy. This is the sequel to the 1995 classic, cult classic, whatever you want to call it. Sequel, the sequel to the movie that was inspired by a Nike commercial starring Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan.
What an insane freaking sentence that is.
Yeah. We are talking about Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, and I did not pull anything up for this. I should do
Fine.
that
I want to
now.
start with the basics, though, Alan.
Yes,
Alan,
go
have
for
you
it.
seen Space Jam, the original one, as an adult? And if so, is it a good movie?
I have
We
seen.
need these baselines.
Okay. About 2 weeks ago, I went in to HBO Max and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Space Jam. It's been a while.
Hmm.
So yes, I have watched it on my own within the last month.
Good. And
And
was it a good movie?
it's a fun movie. Right away though, you forget that the main song to this movie is by R. Kelly. And in
Ugh.
2021, when you hear I Believe I Can Fly, it's like, ugh.
It hits different. It just hits different.
It does. And I put on Space Jam when I was on vacation for my 5-year-old niece. Uh, and I like she was watching it. She was sleeping on the couch, and she had her blankets, and she was all ready to go. I put
Mhm.
it on, and I start walking away, and then I just hear "I Believe I Can Fly," and I was like, ugh. But she has no
Yeah.
idea about any of that, so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let her be and watch the movie. She enjoyed it,
She enjoyed
so
it?
it
Okay.
still holds up for a 5-year-old, which is good.
I mean, but it was almost the intended audience. I mean, I think I saw this movie. When did it come out? 98, you said?
1995.
95? I watched it when it came out. I was 5. I loved it. Like, this was my movie. I'm not a basketball guy. I never was. This movie was great. I've never watched it as, like, as an adult, but, like, I feel like it just, I'm glad it holds up. I'm glad you said it holds up because
I'm
I feel like it wouldn't.
I'm sorry, it's 96.
96. Got it.
Yeah,
Then I was 6.
it it holds up in spots. It's not a great film. Like it's not a perfect movie. It
Okay.
For what it is, it's fun. And
Hmm.
that's what it's a kids movie. And I enjoy it for what it is. Like I still have the nostalgia for it, and I think that's a big thing. The soundtrack is fantastic. Bill Murray, like the chat is saying,
Best part.
Bill Murray is probably the best part. And then you got Wayne Knight, Newman from
Oh,
Seinfeld in
yeah.
there. Danny DeVito as the bad guy. The
I realized today, by the way, that was Danny DeVito. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. So yeah, so I watching the original Space Jam, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see what Space Jam: A New Legacy is.
Hmm.
What were your conceptions of this movie before you sat down to watch it?
So I'd seen some of the trailers, and I tried not to watch too much of it. But it was really two things. It was one, I thought, okay, this is just going to be Fortnite the movie. Like, Warner Brothers is showing off all of its IPs. It's just flexing. I got it. And then I also, I watched it like 2 days ago or yesterday, I think, and I'd seen some of the hate from the internet before this, so I kind of came in about preloaded to go like, okay, I'm gonna have to give this movie a little bit of breathing room here. Like, if I'm gonna have fun, I need to like pump back my expectations and not expect cinematic gold. So that's where I came from with the movie.
Okay.
What about you?
So about 6 months ago, before any promotional material for this movie had come out, I
Mm-hmm.
read a synopsis of what the movie was going to be.
Okay.
And um, it's pretty much what the log line is on IMDb, so I'll just read that. A rogue artificial intelligence kidnaps the son of famed basketball player LeBron James, who then has to work with Bugs Bunny to win a basketball game. The
Yeah,
one that I
man.
read was more detailed. It's like it gets pulled into the mainframe of the Warner Brothers studio where all of the IP lives. I'm like, that sounds dumb. Like that is like I love Space Jam, but that is just dumb. Like I don't want to see this. And then I saw the trailer and I saw some of the cameos that they have in this movie, like just on the sidelines. Like, okay, I don't understand why some of these are here, and we'll get into details later. But I was like,
We will.
okay, if this is what they're gonna do with it, if they're gonna go full Ready Player One, then maybe I'm involved. Like maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. And I like LeBron James as an actor. I liked him in Trainwreck. I was like, this guy's good. Like he can actually act. He's got comedic chops. So I was interested to see how he did in this. Um, and I wasn't too disappointed in his performance.
Oh, we'll
But
talk. Don't worry.
yeah. But yeah, I was cautiously optimistic about this movie. Um, all that to say, Devin, what did you think of Space Jam: A New Legacy?
Yeah, man, it was fine. I'm not rushing out to see it again, but it had its problems. We'll talk about it. Was
Yeah.
it the best movie I've ever seen this year? No. Was it the worst movie I've ever seen this year? No.
It it what is the worst movie you've seen this year?
Son of a gun, what is the worst movie I've seen this year? It's not this one because I just said it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the worst movie I saw this year was. And I'll have to
Okay.
think about it. But I don't. It's definitely not this. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I
Yeah.
really did.
This movie is a lot of fun. I enjoyed
Yes.
it. It's by far not a perfect movie. There are a lot of issues with it. It is just Warner Brothers like, hey, look at all the stuff we have. We own Harry Potter. We own DC. We own Game of Thrones. You forgot about that one, didn't you? Um, it it's like they throw everything that they own in your face. And as an adult watching this, it's like, okay, we get it. You own all this stuff. But at the end of the day, no matter how bad this movie is narratively or um, how out there some of the jokes are, it's a kids movie. So from a kid's
Mhm.
perspective, um, having Foghorn Leghorn on a dragon is a funny thing. Like that's
Right.
like it's a little cringy to anyone who watches some of the stuff that they reference in this, and we'll get into details here later. But it's like at the end of the day, this is a kids movie,
Hmm.
and it is made for kids. And every kid that I've talked to about this movie has been excited for it. And I think watching this through a 5-year-old, 10-year-old's eyes, I think it's fine.
Right.
I enjoyed it. There were some jokes that made me laugh out loud, and there were some things that made me cringe. But for the most part, I laughed out loud at this movie, and
Yeah. I mean,
I enjoyed it.
yeah, and it was fun. And the thing too is, I understand that like saying like, oh, it's all of these like all of these IPs doesn't sound appealing, but in some ways, that was kind of the most fun part of the movie for me was the IP stuff. Like, and I saw that some people were concerned that like, oh, it's not a Looney Tunes thing. It definitely is a Looney Tunes thing. They definitely get their chance to shine in this, and they definitely like. kind of make you. I mean, heck, I even got a trailer for the new season of Looney Tunes they're coming out with on the back of this movie. So like, they definitely make sure you care about the Looney Tunes, but they also incorporate the other IPs to the point where it's fun. Like, if you shut your brain off and stop thinking about like what the theoretical implications are of the DC world, not including Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman having her own world that's stylized differently, does that mean something different? Like, shut up. Like, Wonder Woman was a fun part of it. DC was fun. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah, DC. I mean, DC has its own multiverse. So with that whole thing, it's just like, okay, so you've got Game of Thrones, DC, Harry Potter,
Matrix,
The Matrix,
Casablanca.
Casablanca, and a bunch more that we'll name later. But as far as the Looney Tunes go, I think they like this is the chance to introduce the Looney Tunes to a whole new generation,
Yeah.
and I think they really nailed that because
Mhm.
you get the duck season, rabbit season, you get that whole shtick, and then
Yeah.
you get Marvin the Martian coming down and being Marvin the Martian. I don't have that voice.
Which no, that was close.
Um,
I love him, and I thought that was great too.
but then, like when you introduce all the other characters, they each get their own moment to show what they're known for.
Yeah.
And they each so like you'll know what they're you'll know Sylvester's trying to eat Tweety. You'll know Porky the Pig's a rapper. Uh,
that was a bit weird.
um,
You know about the whole like Wile E. Coyote and his like crazy contraptions and how they
yes.
always go wrong. Like, you get the character beats in the right ways though.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a great way. It's like you can watch this and then sit down and watch a classic Looney Tunes. I don't know about the new stuff. I haven't watched any of that.
Yeah.
I was never huge on the Looney Tunes. But
I think we're in the minority here. I think there's definitely a lot of people that really like the
yeah,
Looney Tunes
no,
in general.
yeah, oh no, yeah. I appreciate the Looney Tunes for what they are. I just never really got into like Space Jam was what I knew them from. I
Yeah.
never really sat down and watched the Looney Tunes. But
Well,
yeah,
and I did. Like, I grew up on them too. Like, it's, I like chat. Like, I grew up on them. They were a pretty big part of my childhood, and like some of the ones were like Bugs in the Opera, like on that like fat horse he rides, like is like a classic episode that I'll watch anytime.
yeah. So yeah, I think my ruling on this is it's not a perfect film, but it's fun, it's funny, and it's great for kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. I really am.
So with that being said, I think we can get into spoilers and talk about some of the stuff
Okay.
that we enjoyed because there are a lot of pop-up jokes in here that catch you off guard
Okay.
if you're not expecting them. So, was there anything in here, any cameos or visits to a Warner Brothers IP that you weren't expecting?
Yeah.
That caught
And I
you
think
off
we
guard?
have to be picking the same one.
Yeah.
The big one was Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
At least for me, I did not expect him to go there. I love the Wile E. Coyote like witness me section. I thought that was amazing.
I thought that made me lose it. Like that's one of the parts where I was laughing hysterically. Sadly, the internet spoiled the other one of that in that montage.
Which one?
The Austin Powers.
Yes.
So yeah, Austin
That one
Powers.
was so good.
Austin Powers is in a Looney Tunes movie, which is just like that. That blows my mind.
And the thing is, like, even knowing that they're there doesn't make them any worse. Like, I would watch that montage again now. Like, I would watch it any day.
Yeah, like I wanted to watch this movie again before the episode, but that was one of the ones that like that whole montage and Foghorn Leghorn on one of the dragons from Game of Thrones saying, I said, a winner is coming." Like I was like, oh gosh, like, oh.
And I think part of it is like they'll show you these like very adult like settings and very adult like IPs with the Looney Tunes in them.
Yeah.
And I think like for kids, and this is where I like that they do these new ones for the kids. It's funny. Look, it's on a dragon, and oh look, the granny's doing flips like in the Matrix. But like it's the implications of them in that
Mm-hmm.
that like are funny for the adults. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. The whole Granny in the Matrix thing just fell flat for me.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm not like I wasn't a fan of anything she did in this movie. I
I mean,
like
she did the one thing. She did the slow motion kicks.
well, yeah, and that yeah, but I like Speedy Gonzalez. Like I liked him in this.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's just Speedy now, by the way.
is it?
Yeah, they like. I think they officially renamed him. I think he's just Speedy now.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but
Um,
yeah, he. I don't know. I thought that one was fun.
I was gonna say something. Um, before we get into like the background characters at the basketball game, let's
Yeah,
talk about some of the real world stuff. The real actors in this. So what did you think of LeBron James acting?
fine. It's just fine. It got us from A to B in the movie. I don't know that he's gonna win any awards for it. And fine, he doesn't need to. It's a kids movie. He did his part. I think the part that got me was in the very beginning when he was like mad about his son like bringing a Game Boy into the court. He was just so like,
He's so
why?
unlikable in that whole
He,
first act.
but really though, and he definitely lightens up and he definitely gets a lot like more relatable and funnier. But man, like, wow, he was harsh with his kids.
And I wonder if that was for kids to be like, okay, this character's going to have a turn in the third
Mm-hmm.
act, and we're just gonna have to make him cartoonishly a bad dad or a annoying dad. Like
Yeah.
you want the kids to identify with the son, even if they're more sports like and don't build their own video games. I'm wondering if that's what that was, because that's a script thing. That's not just a performance thing.
No, no, it definitely wasn't. Like he was written to be a jerk
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, I don't know because I mean, and maybe they thought that the bit when he was a kid was like enough to like redeem him and like, oh, I see that he's mean, but I get where he's coming from. But it just seems like he like learned one lesson in his life and just hit that way too hard, and
Yeah.
that part bothered me. I think.
So the other main actor in this is recent Emmy nominee Don Cheadle. Did you read about his Emmy nomination?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was for Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
right?
he's in on screen for 90 seconds in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he got an Oscar nomination. And he responded like, "Yeah, I'm confused too, but
Yeah,
thanks."
but great. Yeah.
Um, he is just chewing the virtual scenery every time he's on screen, and I'm kind of here for it. Like I kind of enjoyed him as the overly cartoonishly evil bad guy.
And that's a different performance that we get from him from the MCU. Like we
Mhm.
get like sympathetic, likable, we get like heroic. We don't get over the top bad guy from him ever, and I really liked it.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed his performance. It gets it does what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to get annoyed with him because he's so evil, but
Yeah.
not as evil as Doctor Evil, who's also in this movie. But still, it's so cartoonish and it works just as well as Danny DeVito's character in the original Space Jam, if not better. I think that the bad guy in this is a lot more. They give him a lot more screen time than Danny DeVito had in the first one.
And I think they give him a better plan than Danny DeVito in the first one because this wasn't he just I own an amusement park and
I
I
want
want
the
them to
Looney
work.
I want the Looney Tunes to play for me.
Yeah,
I still don't understand what his motivation is. Like I want LeBron James's likeness to create all of these movies and TV shows that we can use with all of our IPs. Like he has a whole presentation where he's like, "We can do this," but in the presentation, he actually does that. So
right.
why
So
does
you
he
can
need
already
why does he need LeBron to begin with when he already has
you
the
can already do
capability?
it.
He can already do it. So like I was a little
It
confused by that.
well, I
But
mean,
it's
and
like
then
it's a
understand
kids
that
movie and I'm using logic to explain
And
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna bring this up, but like a second later, like the pitch to LeBron is, we're gonna scan you once and you'll be in all these movies, and all you have to do is sit back. And LeBron's answer to that was, no, that takes too much time. The game has to come first. They're like, the sentence before that was, you can have free time. Do this quick.
Nah. Yeah.
Nah,
Uh,
whatever. It's a kid's movie. Don't worry about it.
exactly. Um,
All right, hold on. I have a dumb question then, and this is going to be unfair of me to bring up. Are we okay, or are we okay with doing this for kids' movies? Are we okay with hand waving off plot holes and making not smartly written content for kids? Are we okay with that? Or should we demand better of our media for kids in general?
so
Because I'm on the fence with both. Because on one hand, sure, you need a cartoonishly bad guy. It's a plot point that gets us from A to B. We get to the Looney Tunes faster that way. I get it. But
so
like, yeah. But should we be giving that media to kids?
I think the big takeaway for kids in this movie
Mm-hmm.
isn't the. I think you get the kids in with, okay, they reference Harry Potter, they reference DC,
Yeah.
they reference all this stuff. But I think the big draw for Warner Brothers to get kids to this movie is the idea that this is introducing a new generation to the Looney Tunes. And
Yeah.
I think the film where it's strongest is with the Looney Tunes
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on them. I can't really say anything bad about anything they did with the Looney Tunes in this. I think you can have it be what it is and still get to the point where kids want to know more about Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and
Mm-hmm.
Porky the Pig. I think the film does a good job of that. I think it's a Space Jam movie and it has just as many plot holes as the original Space Jam. I think
Fair.
I think do I like the original Space Jam more? Yes. Is that because of
Yeah.
nostalgia? Probably. And I think that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people in our generation were upset with this movie because it's not what they expected. It's not the original that they put up on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
It's something new, it's something different, and there's no nostalgia for it. And
Right.
I think nostalgia is the biggest factor in how much everyone loves the original Space Jam. And
Yeah.
I think it's unfair to compare the two when you look. You have to take nostalgia out of it. You take that
Mm-hmm.
out of it, they're on par with each other.
Yeah.
So I think
I
the same issues that this movie has plot wise are there in the original Space Jam.
I'm sure. I mean, I haven't watched it in forever, but I'm sure they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. Like, I don't feel like our generation grew up stunted or any worse because Space Jam had plot holes in it. Like, maybe that was a bit overreacting, but it's just some things I think about where, like, could we make smart kids movies and it that be the standard? I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of smart kids movies.
Yeah.
Uh, over the vacation, I saw one that was on Netflix. I saw most of one. It's called The Wish Dragon. It's a Sony animated film that's on Netflix.
Hmm.
Um, it was actually really good and very um, like it wasn't a pic. It's a Sony animation film,
Yeah.
but it was almost like Pixar quality. Like I was very
Oh
impressed with
wow.
what I saw of it, and I thought it was just going to be like a silly like dragon movie, but it's actually really good. So I and you look at the stuff that Pixar is doing with
Hmm.
like Soul and like
Right.
there is a lot of quality kids entertainment out there. Hell, I'll even put Boss Baby up there. Like Boss Baby, somehow both Boss Baby films have struck the balance of entertaining for kids and entertaining for adults. And that is super impressive to me because Alec Baldwin just saying cookies are for closers was enough to be like, for me to be like, what is this movie? Because why are they referencing Glenn Glary, Glenn Ross in a kids animated movie?
Right.
Um, so I think there is quality kids entertainment out there.
Hmm.
I, and I don't think, I don't think, I, and 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 I I lost my train of thought. I think it's okay to have something with plot holes like Space Jam every once in a while, but
Got it.
because there
Just
is
it
so
not be
much
the
out there
standard.
that doesn't have the issues that this has for kids.
I can see that. I really can. Also, how would you compare this to Boss Baby?
Oh,
Would you like if you had to sit down with your niece or nephew and you had to put on a kids movie? Is it this or is it Boss Baby?
I would watch this again
Would you?
because Boss Baby's fun, but this was funny. Like I there and
Yeah.
there's so much to see in this movie. Because like I want to go through and just pause it and look at all of the faces in the crowd because there's
Mm-hmm.
just so much for your eye to catch. Like I need to watch this movie again so I can pick up on it all. Um,
Well, I almost at one point I think that actually hurt the movie, and maybe it's just how I watch things. But the second all of the IPs came to watch the basketball game, like all of the Warner Brothers IPs came, I immediately stopped watching the game. I was scanning the crowd. I wanted to know who was in the background.
yeah,
Oh, this is a new angle. Is there somebody new? Like I almost didn't care what was happening on the court. I cared about the background people.
yeah, I definitely had that too.
Yeah.
Um, was there anyone in there that you're like, huh, that's a weird choice?
I mean, I know you already mentioned it, but specifically the Danny DeVito penguin was a weird choice.
Not only the Danny DeVito penguin, but they had the Burgess Meredith penguin in
Yeah,
there
they
too.
did. And they
Uh,
had like all three Catwomen in there too.
yeah. Um, for me, it was Baby Jane from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, the Betty
I'm looking that up.
Davis movie. She almost looked like Harley Quinn in this.
Is that what that was?
That was
Okay.
yeah. Um, that was the weirdest choice for me. But tied with that was the gang from A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird choice for a kids movie. I enjoyed seeing The Mask.
That was fun.
Um,
Agreed. Okay, you'll know this. There was a lady by Baby Jane. She
okay.
was in blue. She had a white frock on. She had blonde hair and she had pigtails. Who the heck was she? Because to me, she looked like Alice from Alice in Wonderland,
Was
but I
it
know they don't own that.
was it Dorothy?
It could have been Dorothy. I didn't think Dorothy had pigtails though.
She might.
I mean, you know what? Dorothy makes sense. I think it was Dorothy. I think the extra they got for its hair was a little lighter than normal,
Yeah.
but I really think it might have been Dorothy.
I also appreciated Mr. Freeze's just walking around the basketball court with his robe on.
With his yeah, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze was such a good choice.
Pennywise was in there. Um,
I mean, I caught the Jetsons, I caught the Animaniacs, I caught Space Ghost, Magilla Gorilla. I think
um,
El Kabong was in the back at one point
here's one that I missed. Kangaroo Jack.
from the
Can-
movie Kangaroo
from the
Jack.
movie Kangaroo Jack. Yeah.
No, they didn't. Where was he?
I don't know. Mars Attacks.
Gross.
Evidently, the aliens are in here.
I missed that.
The Animaniacs make an appearance.
I saw them. They were great.
Um, I missed the Shining reference.
Oh, I missed the Shining
I think
reference
I think
too.
the twins are in there. I think my
Oh,
wife
that
saw
makes
that.
sense.
Um, what did you think? I know you're a big Rick and Morty fan. What did you think
Yeah.
of Rick and Morty in this?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it was the encapsulation of an entirety of a Rick and Morty episode in like 4 lines. And it did exactly what the Looney Tunes do: is it introduced you to the two characters. Hey, did you like that? Was that a funny dynamic? Here's a whole series of basically just that,
Yeah.
although a lot
Um,
ruder. And the other part is like, I know that some people are like, oh, Rick and Morty are selling out. They're in Space Jam now. Rick and Morty do commercials for Hardee's and for Wendy's.
yeah.
Like, they just,
And
that's
they're
just
in
what they do.
Fortnite. Like,
Yeah, and they're in Fortnite. Like, they sell out. That's part of their thing.
yeah. Dan Harmon just wants all the money, and I don't blame him.
Who doesn't? If I was in charge
Um,
of Rick and Morty, I'd do the same.
yeah. Um, I
That's
also
amazing.
what?
The Kangaroo Jack thing, I'm looking it up. I just love the Kangaroo Jack's in it. I'm stuck on Kangaroo Jack here.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I need to go back and watch it for that one. Uh. So the basketball game itself. What did you think? Okay, what did you think of the CG Looney Tunes?
Oh, I liked them. I thought it was a really good choice. I thought that like, yeah, I liked their cartoon designs. It had that like really kind of newer, nice, sharp, clean, like very like deep colors kind of like look to it. So the cartoon play like parts were gorgeous. But I thought them going CG was kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if it made it work better with the basketball that they were doing. I don't know why they decided CG. And like in the movie, they don't give much reason other than like Don Cheadle's just like, haha, CG now. But like I liked
What
it.
I liked about it was the Looney Tunes were hesitant to be 3D. Like they wanted
Yeah.
to go back to 2D as soon as possible. And I
Yeah.
appreciated that just because that's what the Looney Tunes is. Like when you try to mess with the Looney Tunes formula too much, it comes off weird.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I completely agree
I
with that.
enjoyed that. Um, I think we're gonna save the halftime joke for anyone who hasn't seen it. Like,
Oh yeah, we can't
yeah,
spoil the halftime
yeah,
joke. Needless to say, the halftime joke I actually laughed at.
yeah.
I thought it was very funny, and it almost answered a question I had about the whole movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I liked it, and it's so precious.
Yeah.
Be surprised.
How do you think the film deals with the relationship between the father and the son, like the LeBron James and his son? Did you like the resolution of that or not?
It's a good question because I think at the end I kind of struggled to see what it was going for. So like the arc of it is that you need to spend more time with your son. You need to agree with his interests. Then you know the son like I guess rebels against the dad for a bit, but also not really. And then by the end of it, I guess he takes some interest in his son's thing, but then the son is also ready to give up on his thing completely and isn't mad about it. I don't know. It didn't feel like there was much of a payoff other than like, gee, Dad, I guess you are great. Like, what did I get a wrong read on that? Like, what did you think?
uh,
Because I really struggled with this, and I still do.
I
Like,
kind of
I
struggled with their
understand this.
relationship to begin
Yeah.
with because like they have that whole scene outside at the basketball court
Mm-hmm.
where the other son just keeps getting hit in the face with the balls, which I thought
It
was
was
funny.
fun. Yeah.
Um, and then they have the scene in where he's showing him his video game, and he
Mm-hmm.
seems like accepting of him making a video game, but then
Right.
all of a sudden, in the next scene, he's like, "No, like you can't. Like it's not even a discussion. It's like, no, you have to go to basketball camp." So like the whole relationship, the whole time is kind of like, and it kind of did the hook thing where Don Cheadle is like kind of manipulating the kid to be on his side.
Yeah.
Um, so I I kind of bought the son slowly seeing how Don Cheadle was manipulating everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's talk about Don Cheadle's name a second. Algae Rhythm.
Oh, Alan,
Yeah,
why did they have to do that?
because
I mean,
they're punny.
I mean, it fit. It totally fit. But like, man, it was rough. Like that was such kind of. It was a bit of a cringy name.
Part of me wonders if they tried to get Sasha Baron Cohen and they could do Algae Rhythm.
That would have been really funny. Is he a Warner Brothers property?
I mean, Ali G show was on HBO, so I think he owns that character, but
But they could have done it
they
because
might have.
Ali G Rhythm would have been really funny.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess the resolution at the end, I kind of enjoyed it. Like I'm glad it was that they had that healing in their relationship, and especially
Yeah.
in the stinger at the end where he takes him to the game camp.
Yeah, but he's all dressed and ready for basketball camp. Like he's gonna be at game camp with basketball shorts and jerseys because he didn't pack differently.
Yeah, that's the that's a trope that I don't like surprising your kid
Yeah.
with a camp that they're not expecting. That's just kind of
Right.
like, why would you do that? Um,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's sweet, and like it got the point across really well, where like kid was ready. But like, I think the line that got me was the son went, I think I'm done with video games for a while, especially since I was, trapped in one. And I go, all right, cool. He's over his video game thing. That, for me, is a real reason to give up on wanting to do video games. And then the dad's like, well, surprise, we're at video game camp. And then the son's like, yay, I guess I was lying a second ago. Which,
Yeah.
like, again, I need to stop applying adult logic to this kid's movie. He was doing a sweet thing for his kid. I need to shut up.
Yeah.
But, like, it's I think it's the writing. I really think it's the writing in this movie that's getting me. I really do.
It and yeah, like yeah, it's definitely the writing. The writing is not great, but where the writing is strongest is with the Looney Tunes, and I think that's the most important
Agreed.
part of this because you don't want to devastate their legacy to the point where no one wants to see anything Looney Tunes again. I think this has been such a
Mhm.
big hit that we'll probably see more Looney Tunes going forward.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get Brendan Fraser back in action again. Um,
Oh, it'd be fun.
they just get him as his character from Doom Patrol.
I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't be
They
upset.
own the rights.
They do. Anything else you want to say about Space Jam: A New Legacy?
Did you catch the best cameo in it? The Bill Murray one.
No.
I had to be shown this one. I didn't catch it either. Bill Murray is in a picture in the end credits on the cell phone with Bugs Bunny as his caddy.
Oh, okay.
Which neat.
Yeah,
I'm glad they got him back in some capacity. I heard Murray's very hard to book.
he is. I that's one of the best jokes in the first one. Like how did you get here? And Bill Murray's like, Teamster dropped me off. I'm friends with the producer. The producer's Ivan Reitman, who directed Ghostbusters.
I didn't realize that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Um,
I just love that after that, Danny DeVito monster goes, who let Dan Aykroyd in here? Or like Dan Aykroyd's in this picture, which I think is a really funny thing.
yeah. I was there. What is your favorite joke in this movie? Because I have one that stands out among the rest, and I never seen the movie that it's referencing, but it's such an iconic line that I was like, that's kind of cool. At one point during the basketball game, Don Cheadle says, "King Kong ain't got nothing on me," and then the
Yeah.
camera just turns to King Kong, who's like, and I was like, of course you're gonna make that joke in front of King Kong. Like that's
Right. What movie is that referencing?
Training Day, Denzel Washington.
Oh, I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen it either. I'm sure Ryan's watching right now. Like, they've never seen Training Day. It's got Denzel in it.
There's a couple of things that I do want to get his read on because I know that the two basketball announcers in the game are big freaking deals. I don't know them.
I don't
The
know.
one guy sounds like what I think of when I think of basketball announcer, and I don't know who the other guy is.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like I want to know them. I wanted that to be cool. I just don't know who they are. It's my bad.
Yeah.
Did you know the other team of players? So like the other team was all like real NBA players and WNBA, which I thought was really cool.
I did like that a lot.
Yeah.
I did not know a single one of them.
Me neither. I looked him up on IMDb afterwards.
To be fair, I didn't even know LeBron was playing for the Lakers now.
You know,
I don't know anything about basketball. So
well, and that's another thing that I think that Ryan would appreciate, and that if you are really like, if you're really into sports, I think you'd like this. They do poke fun at his career quite a bit,
yeah.
and like I can see where that's very funny, and I don't get it.
I know enough that he keeps changing teams, so I appreciated
Yeah.
those jokes, but outside of that, I didn't know he was at the Lakers now. I thought he was still in Cleveland. I did appreciate. Real quick, I just want to say I appreciated the Superman the animated series style of the DC animated world.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised that we didn't hear any lines of dialogue in there.
But you heard every theme song for every superhero. Like they went through like all of them.
Yeah, it's almost getting to the point where I'm getting tired of seeing or hearing Danny Elfman's Batman theme because it's going to take away from when I hear it next year when I go see The Flash.
Right.
Like
And it
I
being
want
that
to like
cool.
that. It's going to be different because I'm actually going to see Michael Keaton in the Batmobile, but still,
That's going to be
um,
crazy, though.
yeah. But I appreciated
Yeah.
the Justice League Unlimited Superman the Animated Series style of Superman and Jimmy Olsen and Alfred.
Hmm.
Like Alfred just being on the train, I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
There was a lot of really good in that. Like,
yeah.
yeah, and just I kept pointing out, I'm like, no, that's the Danny Elfman score. No, that's the Adam West score. Oh, that's the Superman score.
Here's something I just thought of.
Yeah.
So you're watching The Bad Batch, right?
Yes.
On Disney Plus.
Yes.
So one of the things that The Bad Batch in the final season of the Clone Wars did was they gave you glimpses of characters in the Clone Wars last year who then appear again in the Bad Batch because they already had the
Mm.
models made. They're reusing some characters from that. Do you think there's a chance the reason we saw that style of DC in this is that they are going to be revisiting that style down the line and already had somebody else working on something that's going to involve
Mm.
that style of Superman again and
That's
Batman and all the
interesting.
characters.
I would like that. I would hope so.
I know they're doing another Batman show. I don't think it's going to be in that style, but it's going to be the same people involved. But even if it's just a movie, I'd be okay with that.
I really like that style. I think it's classic.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So then, taking that question and flipping it, do you think the reason why the Looney Tunes were momentarily 3G or 3G like CGI is because they're either workshopping that look for them? Like, how did that go over with the audience that saw Space Jam? Because we're going to do another project with them in CG.
I think they did that just so they could piss off all the furries with Lola Bunny. Um,
Why?
oh, you didn't read that? Uh,
No, no, I don't know what happened.
Evidently they changed. Like, okay, so evidently Lola Bunny started a lot of people down a path to furryism,
Sure. I mean,
and
literally, she was a sex symbol, a
yes,
sex object in the first one.
and from what I understand, people in that community were not happy with the changes they made to her character. Um,
It's weird. I don't know if I know the change. I just know they like dressed her more modestly and made her
yeah,
more of like a like an action kind. Like us, they made her more of a strong female character,
yeah,
which I'm not mad
I'm
about.
not mad about it either. I think Zendaya did a great job as the voice.
Yeah,
Um,
I forgot that was her. Rosario Dawson does Wonder Woman, I think, right?
yes,
Yeah, that's a good cameo.
yeah, she did her in a lot of the animated movies, so I like that they pulled her back.
Oh, see, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Um,
So were they referencing any particular animated thing with Wonder Woman? Because I really liked that style. Like it was a very like striking kind of cartoon
I
style.
don't think so. It reminded me more of like a motion comic.
Oh, got it.
Um, but it was. I mean, the biggest thing I think they were referencing was Superwoman '84 or Wonder
Oh
Woman
yeah,
'84.
yeah, with the whole trial thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Uh, all right. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, man, I liked the movie. I really did. I mean, it's yeah, not the best movie of the year, but it's fun and there's some good stuff in there.
On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, how many stars would you give it?
3.5, solid 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. 3.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't. It's not like a 4 because like a 4 is like almost mostly endlessly rewatchable for me. A 5, I'll watch it any day. There are parts of this I would love to revisit again, but it wasn't a bad movie. It's just right in the middle.
Yeah, there are definitely parts of this I'll fast forward through next time. So,
Yep,
but
the whole beginning part.
all right. Well, if you're watching us on Twitch, make sure to head over to our YouTube channel uh, and subscribe to us there. Um, we will be hosting this video there. We'll probably be doing some more bonus episodes like this exclusively for our YouTube channel. We just want
Cool.
to try to get people over there because we're not going to always do
Hmm.
everything on Twitch. For when schedules like this work out with Ryan, where we can't all be in front of our cameras at the same time. So make sure to head over there and hit the subscribe button. Um, we will be live again on Sunday talking about Aliens,
Can't
a
wait.
film that Devon's never seen, but Ryan has already made me watch for the show. So
Hey, look, it's so good it's worth talking about twice, right?
yeah,
Is it that good?
it's good. Yeah, I'll rewatch
Okay.
it. Yeah, or I'll just go back
I
and re-listen to the episode and remember what I had to say but last time.
Well, here's the thing: is I've heard the shape of the Alien franchise, so I know I'm expecting a different tone than the first movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm excited for it.
in the meantime, you can listen to our podcast on all major podcasting platforms. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on TikTok because we need to start doing more on TikTok. Actually, I've got something I'm going to post on TikTok this weekend from our stream earlier that is pretty
Oh
fun.
shoot!
So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, not going to give it away, but um, for you who have to watch this podcast, I'm Alan,
and I'm Devon.
and that's all, folks.
Good, good.
I figured you'd like that one.
I did.